Hello, everybody. I hope this is working today. All right. So I just found out something sad. Okay, we're definitely going to go over Poppy Palin's first tarot. I have a copy. I used to use this like a lot. It was my client reading deck back, oh my gosh, like before I had kids. So over 10 years ago, over 11 years ago, actually. This is a beautiful deck. And Poppy is awesome, but I just want to share a little sadness with you. This is one of my favorite sets of earbuds. I used these last night. Oh my gosh. My cat chewed through the cord, and I'm going to have to find or buy another set of earbuds. I loved the color, and oh my gosh, I'm so sad. Anyways, that was a bit of craziness I discovered as I was setting up for this, and no, it's like one of my favorite colors. This color tends to stream. It's a teal, a very light teal blue, so sad. I've had those for a while, and I can't believe that kitten just anyways. All right, so let's focus on why we're here. This is a 78 card deck. This is called Waking the Wild Spirit Tarot. Someone had asked me to do a walkthrough or a video for this, but right now the internet at my house, I thought I could do a live stream a bit quicker than trying to download something and all that kind of stuff. So let's just get to it, okay? So this deck came out in 2002. It was her first deck. And what I was going to do is show you them in chunks. And then let me see if I can get this in my hands properly. Sorry, I'm just a little bit upset about my earbuds. It's my favorite set. Anyways, okay. So hey y'all, this is Chloe, and we're gonna walk through the Waking the Wild Spirit Tarot from Poppy Palin, and here is the backs. Now this is a slightly more pastel backing than the new one. If you've seen the new one or any videos on it, yes, it's a more pastel look. It is reversible. It is a chunky deck for a tarot. Matter of fact, I'm trying to think. Do I have it? I don't have a tarot deck like right near me. I don't. Oh, yes, I do. Okay. I do. Okay, here we go. Let me pull out this one. It's about an average size tarot deck, so everybody knows it. Yes. So the size of this one is actually the same height, pretty much, but its width. Hello, Bella. Yay. So this is the width of the Waking of the Wild Spirit Tarot. It's comparable in length or height to a regular tarot, but it is, I would say, about 1/4 of an inch wider. Yeah, I'd say a good 1/4 of an inch. All right. And again, it's a little bit. Do I want to do a trade? I don't. Not yet. I'll keep it in mind, but no, not yet. Okay. So, all right, let me walk through this for y'all. Okay. So here is what you would know as the Fool card. And I'm trying to get this to focus in. I don't know how this is going to work. I might have to turn on something else for more lighting. Sometimes if I add lighting, I'm just going to turn on the screen of my Roku TV. I won't put anything on, but just that added lighting can sometimes help. Come on, you silly thing. There we go. I'll turn on just a second there. Okay. So this says Wandering Minstrel. Yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah, it's good to see. And I will try not to be too slow, because the last time when I tried to do the recording and download it, it was a very long video, and I know I do long, and I know people don't like that as much, but it's kind of hard. I like to talk about things. Okay, and this one's called Free Spirit, and I will try to bring it close. I don't know how well. Sorry, this is gonna focus. But at least you can see the pictures, and I'll just read the titles if it doesn't want to zoom in. Okay, so it's called, on the top you have the main titles, and I hate to say this, or actually I don't mind saying this, none of them are the traditional titles. None. But some of the pictures do have a bit of the wider weight look to them, but not all. It's like its own thing. Okay, this is one of those earlier ones that started doing an almost part oracle fill, because the top, it says Zero, Wandering Minstrel, and the bottom says Free Spirit. And if you've seen Poppy Palin's newer deck, I know there's a few lovely videos out there now. This will definitely have the bright, really cool primary color / pastels. And then it's gonna, it's a bit bold. And in this case, the major arcana are in this triangle, yellow, black, red edging. That's how you know you're in the major arcana, and each suit has a color that matches that suit. So that's how you'll know where you're at. This is the Cunning Man, number 1, and it says Cunning Man at the top and Magical Spirit on the bottom. And it has little nature spirits in different spots. There's like birds here, a nature spirit sitting here, oak leaves or leaves of different trees spinning around. He has his tools either in his hands or on his belt, and he's by a bonfire. And one interesting thing about this deck is that on one side, there's this little spirit symbol. Oh, there, it finally clicked in. That is on every corner. It's diagonal. Okay, that spirit symbol is even on 1 or 2 decks in the picture, and you'll see it as we go. And so for the major arcana, it has a star in the corner. Okay, star in the corner. So you have not only a color-coded border, but a special symbol on a diagonal on each corner. Okay, so you got plenty of things to cue you in on what you're looking at. Okay, so number 2 is the Wise Woman, and it says Dream Weaver. And I believe this is where the term weaver started coming into my life. I use it because I do aura weaving, but it's not exactly aura clearing. It's more helping to move the energy, move the current and stuff like that. And I believe this is one of my sources of starting to use that weaver term. Now that I thought about it, I for a long time couldn't remember why I used that term. Very beautiful older woman by an ocean or waterway. Has a lot of cool symbolism here with like trinkets that she's kind of, nature trinkets that she's strung together, a raven or crow, a moth. And that one cool thing is that Poppy Palin is very inclusive of age, many different age. Yes, I did. My hair was driving me insane, and I just said, hey, look at my hair, cut it wherever it's going to get better. And then I'll just grow it out again. Yeah, I've often done about this. Like, I have fine hair and it does better shorter, I guess, but I tend to like it longer because I have a really round face and it just helps balance it out. But anyways, thank you. So this one is number 3, Mother Nature, and it says Spirit of Love, and she is a pregnant lady. There's a nature spirits around her, animals, plants, swan and mirror with a reflection on the water. Very beautiful. Yeah. And here is the Lord of the Wild, number 4, and it says Strong Spirit on the bottom. And there's a lot of tribal. That's the one thing I was going through this, and I was like, oh yeah, it's really primitive in some sections. Some of it has its own storyline in certain suits. This is a very different time period that she's depicting, or time periods that she's depicting in this deck compared to the newer one, which is more modern, more everyday, like it says, of now, so to speak. So very cool, lots of awesome symbolism, even with what she has in here. Here is the Interpreter, number 5, the Interpreter, and it says Spirit Guide. And you can totally read this as an oracle or tarot or whatever. I actually used to feel that they shouldn't have named it a tarot, but it does have a structure. So this is 6 soulmates. It would be the Lover's card. It says blessed union. And it's just so adorable. Holding one another, aware of others though. This is number 7, the Hunter. And it says spirit of clarity. And I think that's his precision in shooting the bow. It's really cool. All right. And here is the 8 natural forces or natural force and wild power. I believe this is supposed to be like the Chariot card or strength. I can't remember right now, but it's one of the two. Yeah, strength. And wild power is the other term. So yeah, that makes sense for strength. Because this is a very earth-based, very or you could say pagan-based. And I really like the changes. So number 9 is the healer, and it's the wise counselor. And I love the tabby cats in this deck. Chunky, adorable tabby cats. And if you can see, there's like a current going from her and the person that she's having a consult with. She's like a wise counselor. She is like an herbal, like a hedge witch, or an herbal worker who's like helping people, that kind of thing. So it's a really cool card, the healer. And then here we go with 10, the dance of life. I think this is the wheel card. And it says the web of fate on the bottom. And you have people dancing around and angels or other spirits. Oh, finally getting some focus there. Silly thing. Oh, I'm so glad that she showed hers to you. Okay, so this is the hooded one, Honorable Spirit. Yeah, here is the Fiddler, number 15, the Wild Spirit. This would be the Devil card or the Trickster. There's another Trickster card in the deck, though, so that's why they named this one the Wild Spirit. Here is 16, the Lightning Tree. And it's the Wild Energy. And mine is a little bit worn, not cut or anything. Mine has like a little bit of dirt on the edges because I used this so much way back in the day. And then I love the Lightning Tree. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I need to figure out how to use Google Hangouts and connect it here, but I really like Google Hangouts for private readings and stuff. So 17 is the Source. Yes. And this is Connection. And I really like this card. I love the impressions of different people, different ages. And then there's looping around the world. And then there's the doves. It's just a really beautiful card. And here is the Moon, but it is called the Mother. 18 is Mother 2 Moons, and it's called Sensitive Spirit. And I love the ocean energy here. Seashells, the moon, the clouds. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here. And here is the Sun card, and it is called the Dancer and the Morning Star. All right. And here is 20, Transformation and the Awakening Spirit. I forget what is up with the shoes, but I think it's like, movement, travel, connection, that kind of thing. And, transformation. Yeah, I totally get it. But you know what? At the time, this was kind of cool because it wasn't, I don't like the white border. I've never liked white borders, but I wouldn't mind just this border if I had to limit it to that. And nowadays I know people who that would just like cut it down to this, right? Just to the picture. But I'm not sure that you would lose the alternative titling and the meanings and stuff like that. This one, 21 is the Reaper. I guess harvest, wild harvest. And I like this, like 2 totally different feels on each side. It's really cool. Yeah, it's really, 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 really pretty. Like I said, mine is a bit worn. It isn't, the edges are fine. It's just that it's like dirty. Because I used to, this was a working deck for me. And I used to clean the edges. I'd have to use like a cloth or a paper towel and then rub the edges clean, but I hadn't done it in so long. Yeah, every time I've seen a trim deck where it's just down to the picture, it really makes everything just pull forward, right? Whereas a border makes it kind of recess back. Trimmed is awesome. Okay, so I'm not even sure if I have this in order. I had the book too somewhere, but again, my stuff is still half packed when it comes to I don't have enough bookshelves anymore. So here is, I'm just going to do Earth, and this is the Ace of Earth, and it's the seed. So this is going to kind of go through an evolution here. So you have the seed, you have the root, and this is number 2 of Earth, the root. And in the corners, you'll see it's a leaf. It's a leaf in the corners. And then that spirit symbol on the diagonal of that. Okay. And we have the green and black as a border. And then we have tools for 3 of Earth. Then we have, and you can pause and look at this all you want. If I pause too much, it's going to take way too long. It's already getting long. So the garden for 4 of Earth. I love the animals. It reminds me of Peter Rabbit. The cauldron. And this is 5 of Earth. And here is, oh, here's the symbol in large on the drum. This is the heartbeat drum, number 6. Sorry, folks. Anyways, let's see. Number 6, heartbeat drum. The journey. And I really like this one. Instead of a red cloak, it's someone in blue, and it's an older woman with a walking stick. And it's almost as if, I can't tell if this is rays of light or rain coming down. I mean, depending on what's going on, it could be either, you know, if you look at it. It says the journey. And this is number 7. Okay, number 8 is the trap. And to me, there's a little bit of a piratey feel here. It's really cool. Here is number 9, and we have a lady in her garden kind of thing. It says full bloom. And she also looks pregnant to me, so that would go with the full bloom. And here is gone to ground, 10 of Earth. I love foxes. I think they're adorable. And here is Jack in the green for the page of Earth. And this is kind of the thing about the Earth one. You start seeing people like, oh, your spirit animal, awesome. Is the fox your spirit animal? Okay. Okay, so this, okay. The thing that's interesting about the court cards in this one is you start seeing people, well, in certain cards, actually not just court cards, in certain cards in the deck, you see people in almost dancing poses, like ballet or some kind of dancing pose, like you can see in this one. And then here is the knight. You've got the giant. And there's like little Jack down here by the tree. And then here is Mother of Life for the Queen of Earth. I'm not really sure what's up with the hand and the angle, but there's also like a spider web. Like right here, it's a little hard to see, but that is a spider web. Kind of over a rock or by a rock. And here is the All-Father. So you have the Mother of Life and the All-Father as the King and Queen. Really beautiful. Again, I love her animals. Her animals are really cool. All right, so that was Earth. And again, I'm sorry this takes so long. There's just like so much beautiful stuff. I tried doing this shorter, and like, unless I don't talk at all, this will not go very fast. Sorry. All right. So spring is the Ace of Water, and water, I have a hard time. I really love different aspects of different suits, but because I work with the troubled realms, it's like, I always have to try to adapt things into how I work with cosmology reality. So the spring, and you have literally a spring giving water everybody there, and there's nature spirits. Here is the dream for number 2 of water. And I think it's kind of interesting because you have like that kind of a classic symbolism for the feminine and the moon going on there. And then there's some other stuff. It's almost like literally faded as if you're in a dreamscape, you know? That's really cool. Although the pursed lips thing is a little bit, I always thought that was a little bit strange. Like, are you having some kind of dream where you're like, oh, I don't know about this, you know? Otherwise, her face looks really relaxed by the eyes, and then it looks just a bit tense down below. I don't know. That's just my impression. And I used to be funny when I was doing readings, and I'd get that card, where am I drawn to on the face? That'll give me the level of whatever emotion is going on there. So, okay, so this is the wishing well. It's number 3, and I really like how in this one, the frog almost seems to be like touching or leaning onto this little nature child. And then like the nature spirits like floating around, right? And then there's the crow looking down like, oh, I can see, oh no, you just threw those good coins. You know, they like to collect things. So I see a lot of different things I can be drawn to, or that I was drawn to when I read this deck a lot more. And this is Blood Bound, which tells you what's in the cup. But, you know, the blood of juice, blood of plants is juice. So maybe it's not as, you know, intense as one could take it. Again, this is the 4 of Wands. And I found this interesting because in the traditional 4 of Earth, or what is it? 4 of Wands, they usually show like a celebration or an area where something's going to happen, like a celebration or a wedding or something. So it's interesting to me that in this one, she showed a bonding scene, which I know is not totally unusual for the 4 of Earth, or is it the 4 of Water or 2 of Water usually, but this is a little bit different. So blood bond. And then here is Tears. I really like this. This was so much easier. Yeah, 4 of Wands, that's right. This is so much easier in some ways than seeing some of the other. This is the 5 of Water, and it's the Tears. You know how sometimes when you look at a regular tarot deck and you're kind of like, I'm not really sure what they're saying. Like, you have to look at the position of the body, if it's facing away from you, if the person looks like morose. This is just flat out tears. Like, this person is upset. Okay. Pretty straightforward. And, you know, if you know the tarot, you can go with those things too. But I like that it was just so blatant. She's crying. This young person is crying. So the tears. This I think is gorgeous. I really like this one. There's like a centipede in the corner here, which I think is an interesting depiction. It's called the Womb, 6 of Water. There is a tomb here, and here's a womb, and it's like arms holding this babe in kind of a spiraled place, the womb. But over here is a centipede, and the centipede, it's kind of an interesting depiction. It says womb. So you got to think about that. The 6 of Water. Here's the 7 of Water, which I find interesting. It says the brewing. the brewing. I guess you need a lot of different ingredients and the right ones to create a brew. So if you think about the 7 of water, usually it's about multiple choices and picking the best one or trying to figure out what you really, really want. So if you're brewing, you probably need the best ingredients for the best outcome. Yeah. So it's an interesting depiction for the 7 of water. Choices. Yep. Yep. And then we have, oh, I love this card. I don't know why. Well, I know why I like this card. This is pollution as number 8 of water. And this used to like throw people off, pollution. It's like, well, 8s are usually about practicing and learning and, getting better at something, things like that. So our practices as modern people, and it has a tire in it. So you have like this really older feel, and then you get this like picture with a tire in the corner, and like the fish is not swimming. It's like in this water, not feeling great. Maybe it is swimming, but I don't know how much longer. There is even a can like inside the tire. So you go from these older depiction and then you get this card. So that was an interesting twist in this deck. There's a few random modern depictions. Okay. So I would say if we're thinking about the meaning of tarot and the 8 of water, it is like learning to correct the negative actions or emotions that one has shared or done and trying to clean up our act. So, and that the nature spirits are not happy that they're having to deal with this. This is not something they did. This is not something their charges should have to deal with. So, yeah, I think it's just because it broke the mold so much. Like the Gaian Tarot came out years and years, over 15 years or more later, and that broke the mold completely as far as I'm concerned. And Poppy just did it before. What's her name? Raven Flynn, or what is her name? Yeah. And people did not like a lot of people love the art of that one, but they don't like that it isn't tarot in the way they see tarot. But she says she called it, she knew she was breaking the mold. And Poppy did too. Even her book on spirituality is very different. I haven't read all her books, but the one I did read that I have was good. Okay, so this is the 9 of water. It has another kind of waterfall effect, and it is called the waterfall. And there's like a nature spirit, like right in the middle, almost reminds me of, Mother Mary being shown to people. But I'm not saying it's like Mother Mary. I'm just saying it has that kind of feel of, ooh, a water spirit revealing itself to, those seeking wisdom or cleansing. Coming to a place of purification. And this is the 9 of water. This is a happy place, a cleansing place of a free flowing of emotion, a really positive card. I love the smile on this character here. Really cool. So that's lovely. And then we have the 10 of water. And I really like that it's going in a very non-traditional way. It's called the calm. And a lot of the times with the 10 of water, it's like celebration, happiness, emotions coming to exactly where you want to go. And in this case, it shows, I believe this is like a kingfisher, and this is like either a heron or a crane. I'm not great with birds. Sorry. I only know this one because I have another deck that has a kingfisher. It looks a lot like this one, a little bit different in drawing, but similar characteristics. And I like that they're showing a male. Often it shows someone different, and there is a feather and an incense in the person's hand. Now, because this is a water card, I find I know they're focusing on the idea of coming to peace emotionally, that they're coming to a point of happiness, all that kind of stuff. But I think this is also talking about what it takes to get there. Finding moments of calm, finding a way to become at peace with oneself, which is part of being happy. And you don't even need to be happy all the time, but having the tools to be at this point at different times. So I like that. And these birds are both water related birds. So that helps. I think that's great. All right. So now we're into the court cards. This card was like, this card very much inspired me to keep pursuing being a intuitive reader. It's called the Fortune Teller. It has a dog, a very beautiful dog. It's a like almost a gypsy, a nomadic person on the side of the road with a cloth and a crystal ball and some cards, there to share wisdom, peddling her skills, her gifts. And this is the Page of Water with as the fortune teller. It's really cool. And here is Knight of Water is the seeker, which I find interesting because it's like a knight and then there's a deer, and the sword is like between the knight and the deer. I feel like there's something else going on. This is the seeker. Almost reminds me of like that King Arthur story of them seeking out the different animals. This, I love this mermaid, the Queen of Water as a mermaid. And if you look, you can see a reclining, sleeping person in the mirror. And then she has the one of the other symbols of the mermaid, which is the comb. Really pretty. Yeah. Okay. And here is finally the soothsayer, the King of Water. All right. And I actually like that he looks kind of scruffy. And there's another card where there's like someone in a star speckled robe, cloak type hoodie thing. All right. So it's a very interesting view of that suit. The water. Okay, so now I think the next one is fire and then air. Okay, let's get to the beginning of it. Oh, goodness. Okay, so this one's going a bit more primitive, almost like caveman. Okay, so this is the spark for Ace of Fire. And you have a little family trying to scrounge for what they need. A flint worker, someone gathering, a child. Not sure if they're helping or playing, but they're all there. Okay. Here is the flame. Again, it's kind of a continuation thing at first for the first few cards. I'm not exactly sure if it continues all the way through, but there is a bit of a continuation. She's a candle. She's got some gorgeous leaves around her. All right. Here is the lamp light. I love that little creature. Nature spirit with a lamp. Little, not sure what that creature is, but it's cute. I used to know it. And then here is the moth. Adorable. Okay. Now, a little further down, still a primitive time period, but a little bit further along, you have the smith. And I love this very primitive smith. It's like, there's no anvil here. It's molded in castings there. And the building, I love the building structures behind it. This is Celtic or even basically the UK. Places like that, they had buildings like this way back. Here is the blaze. And this is 5 of fire. So instead of a battle scene or some kind of arguing scene, they're showing like sun rays like bouncing off each other, possibly a carving of a very intense heat time period. There's like conflict within the currents of what's going on there, of which direction and bouncing off each other, that kind of stuff. So the blaze. Okay. Then we got Spiral Dance for the 6 of fire. I really like this card. Whoop, they're trying to slide out of my hand. All right. There's got birds. They've got several different nature spirits dancing around each other. There's like some kind of shape in the background. I'm not really sure what that is. Maybe even, probably a branch of a tree that they're like dancing on the tree in the up high. close to the sun. Really cool. All right. Spiral dance. Oh, another gorgeous cat called the Leaping for 7 of fire. The butterflies, the cat leaping, the daisies or flowers on the bottom is just really, really lots of action happening there. Love her cats. And she has cats in her everyday one as well. Okay, so here's that continuation of, it's called Illness for this one. And this is 8 of fire. And see the cloak with the stars again? I believe that represents how we're kind of in an in-between when we're in illness or injury, you know, depending on how serious it is, can draw us closer to the edge, you know. Our emotions in a, you know, in a kind of a dark place, but in an intense place, which shows the inner fire, because you can have fever and things going on inside, struggles. But learning to get through it, learning how to treat oneself, learning how to pace your energy. Oh, and for some reason, I had a few of the major arcana cards mixed in. I must have accidentally shuffled or something earlier. So this is a couple we were missing earlier. Let's just go ahead and go with what I got in front of me. This is 12, Silence, and it says Visionary Spirit. This is a major arcana card. I think there's 3 of them here. Sorry about that, folks. And this one I think is really cool. I believe it's like kind of the tower. No, we had the lightning tree. So I'm trying to think. It has a key. It has some birds and a castle in the background. Maybe Visionary Spirits, maybe Temperance, or I got to think about it. But it's 12. So whatever the 12 major arcana is, there you go. I just go with Visionary Spirit personally. See what my mind trails from there. Here's the, oh yeah, this one would be the Death card of the major arcana, which is in this case 13 is Rebirth, and the Spirit of Chance. Hello, Champagne. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, I had just a couple cards out of order. This would be the Devil, I guess the Death card actually in the regular tarot, but it's called Rebirth and Spirit of Change. I like the checkered background. I like there's bones here, and then the rabbit, the babe, the old man, showing different phases of life, different symbolism connected to death and trickery. How you're like captivated by a stage performance, but it's your choice to be captivated and be there. So that's cool. And then the rebirth thing, when you're just thinking about death, if you're not trying to mix in the devil, sorry, you know, transfiguration, transformation. That's how we tend to think of the Death card in the major arcana. To me, the true Death card is usually one of the sword cards, but that's just me. Okay, and this is number 14, the Inner Child. Spirit of Purity. This is a major arcana. Sorry, it's out of order. We were going through the fire, and there was just a few I found that were in the wrong section. So this says Spirit of Purity. And you have a unicorn here, which is traditional symbol and imagery for purity, innocence, pure of heart. That whole thing, you must be virtuous or even a virgin to be able to ride or touch a unicorn, that kind of thing, in some traditions. But then you also have a couple of like elves or nature spirits, and then this elven fey child or woman, depending on how you take it. And if you get the book with it, it totally explains the art and the story that goes with the each card. It does in the modern book, she does that, and in the past book, she does it as well. Okay, so now we're back to fire again. Again, sorry for it being a little out of order. 9 of fire is illumination. And I still don't know what the hand thing is. It seems a bit awkward at the angle that they're showing that. They had that awkward hand in a couple different cards, and I can't remember. I know I knew at the time. And again, there's a flame on the corner, and there was like an acorn on the earth, and water had a droplet on diagonal corners of the border, and it was color-coded. So this one's red and black. Water was blue and black. Earth is green and black. And so on. Yellow for air coming up next. 10 of fire, glow. Glow. So gorgeous. Hello. All right. And here is the shapeshifter, the page of fire. All right. Here is the knight of fire is the gypsy. And here is the queen of fire. And the king of fire. Oh, wait. The queen of fire was the wild witch. This picture is used on the cover of one of her books. I can't remember which one, but it is on the cover of one of her books. It's a really beautiful card. Love owls. And then we have the chieftain for the king of fire with a hawk, I believe. Back then, hawks were used for hunting in a show of status. They were very well trained. The only thing it's missing is it would have had a leather loop, unless this is just a wild hawk that somehow is connected to this dude. So, all right. And did I miss showing you any of these cards? Did I skip anything? Maybe. Oh, I think I showed you them all. Okay. I'm missing a card, though. I didn't see one that I'm used to seeing. Oh, well. There's like a gypsy caravan in one of these. Probably, maybe it's in this one coming up. We will see. Okay, I really like this air. Okay, so in this one, we have feathers in the corner. Feathers, and then the spirit symbol diagonal of each other across. Yeah. And this one's called the egg. And you have two different breeds of birds on the other side, and then some flying around. And then a nature spirit all surrounding this egg and focusing on that area. Even the woman, the energy is all connected to air. All right, and here is the fledgling with a robin feeding her babies. And a little elven dude looking in on the nest. And I think that's like flowers. I'm not even sure what plant that is. I'm sure it's a specific plant, but it's pretty cool. Fledgling. Here is freedom flight. Freedom flight. They're all running in the same direction. And this is the 3 of air. All right. Here is the nest. This reminds me a little bit of the stork in the Lenormand decks. And what I like is that there's a baby and eggs that this animal is taken care of in this nest up high on a chimney, of all things. For the 4 of air. Here is the council, or 5 of air, the council. So this is an older person and a younger person seeking wisdom through a book, a tomb of tradition or some sort. So the council. And let's see. Here is Dawn Chorus, 6 of air, and you have the sun, nature spirit, maybe a father or mother and child fluting together, and then the birds chiming in, showing their appreciation for the sun's energy of the moment and just connection. There's panpipes in the hands of the nature spirit. And this is called the Dawn Chorus. It's lovely. And here is the migration. And this is the gypsy cart. The one I kept remembering with some birds. I don't know what the birds are. Sorry. I used to know. I just don't remember now. And it's called Migration for the 7 of air. And here is 8 of air, the caged bird. Yeah. Really cool symbolism with the bird on the outside, birds flying around, and the caged bird in there. Here is the soaring of 9 of air, soaring with some seagulls. And there are some nature spirits hanging off the ends by the feet holding on to the feet of the seagulls. We have hovering, so a hunting animal hovering over a little bird creature like a gerbil or some other furred creature there, hovering. Oop. And here is the trickster. Love the lightning, the ribbon play, bird just doing its thing, not letting anything stop it. Trickster. It's really cool. It's a page of air. This is the Knight of Air, the storyteller. Love those moths, moonlight. The Fairy Queen for the Queen of Air. There's some really cool symbolism, the harp, the rabbit, the sword, some nature spirits around her, touchstone. Her hair is like bushy and gorgeous. And finally, the King of Air, the Peacekeeper. Dove, symbol of peace, swooped in and parted the two arguing people. So this Peacekeeper, gorgeous. All right, and that, my dear folks, is the Waking of the Wild Spirit Tarot. And again, here's the backs. They are reversible. Very similar in look to the modern one, the one that just came out this spring. Gorgeous. Has bees and berries and flowers and just all kinds of coolness there. And again, I kind of like this one a little bit better. I didn't really like the look of the thick, dark corners on the other one. It could be one that's easily trimmed after you get used to it. This one could have too, but I kept it because I actually like the titles, the meanings, and then the titles at the top on this one. It's definitely her same art is flowing through with maybe even bolder colors in the newer one, but this one is awesome as well. And it's a fate. I don't use it as I sometimes pull it out when I just want to go through the art. It was a major working deck for me, and it's a little dirty on the edges, little brown spots, but gorgeous. All right, so I hope you guys liked this walkthrough and a little bit of detail information about Waking Wild Spirit from Poppy Palin. It came out in 2002 from Llewellyn. Sometimes for a while, Poppy was selling these decks directly from her. I don't know if you can find them anywhere else. It's an out-of-print deck. I never saw a second printing. It was a one-time shot, and I was happy to get it at the time. It's one of the first non-standard tarot with its own feel, and there was some of the Rider-Waite coming through in it, but it doesn't follow it too closely. It does have its own spin that it's going through, and there's almost a story in each suit. And it's modeling, even though it had a couple modern mixes in there, it's modeling more primitive or older cultures mixed with nature spirits and deities. And it was just a really awesome deck to work with in my early, I would say my mid tarot and oracle exploration phase. And it's a very lovely deck. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please, if you get a moment, thumbs up, thumbs down, give me some comments. If you have it, tell me what you think. The book that came with this one was also chunky, also had definitions and meanings, also had descriptions of the cards and what was happening in the cards, but also a story about each card or suit, depending a story about each major arcana and suit. If I find the book, maybe I'll do a short video on the book that came with this deck. But I thought it would be fun to at least hanging out with me for a bit there, folks. And have a great week. Bye-bye.